Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the February 13th council meeting, open council meeting. We'll call this meeting to order. First of all, it's a privilege under presentations to give the Summer Games Committee recognition certificates. I would like to read, first of all, everyone out. Brian Smith, co-chair. Brian Senchuk, co-chair. Ashley Galloway, finance and admin. Josh LeBlanc, athlete and food services. Sheila Gunther, volunteers. Pam DeChef, volunteers. Leanne Bohm, medical services. Joe Lindenbach, co-chair of sports and venues. Brenda Thorson, co-chair of sports and venues. Jeff Walters, IT. Brenda Lyons, co-chair of marketing. Blair Ulrich, co-chair of marketing. Art Basalt, logistics. Manpreet Sangha, ceremonies. Amber Anderson, culture. Bernie Bjorndalen, co-chair of Friends of the Games. Kelly McConnell, co-chair of Friends of the Games. Nathan Jesse, Leisure Services. Greg Hoffert, City of Estevan. Kevin Smith, City of Estevan. And Nicole Clow, Games Manager. So thank you all so much for an absolutely fantastic job. Let's give you and yourselves a great round of applause. And I would like to start. We'll each hand out a few this evening. And if anybody's here that we missed, we had a list of who was coming, but if we've missed anybody, please let us know. I think we've got all of the certificates made up. So Brenda, ladies first, could I have you come up?
Sure.
One shot, Pete. Super. Thank you. Now the great co-chairs, Brian Smith, please. Fantastic job, Brian. Thank you so much.
He was a great help.
Oh, Dave, did you want to?
I will actually want to get the two.
Okay. Okay. Oh, here you go, Brian. Thank you, sir.
Brian, do you
Well, my friend, Brian Central. Thank you very much. Super.
and Brian?
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Can we just get Roy and the two Brians together?
Okay.
Go. Hold those certificates nice and tight, please.
Maybe we could do something real quick and then we get in the picture. We
Sure.
could present an emblem of appreciation as well.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Shoulder.
Okay, I guess.
Can we actually just get you to slide down just a little bit so we don't have that picture? Thank you.
The best viewing is right across from our rug.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. Thank you. And now, please, Rick, did you want to start and then we'll go around? Okay.
So it is my privilege to call forward Blair Ulrich, who is the co-chair of marketing. Thank her for a job well done.
Well, that's very nice.
And next, Ashley Galloway, who was in charge of the finance, and had an enormous job and did it exceptionally well. Kept us all on task. There you go.
Leanne Bowen. Okay, and Jeff Walters.
Yeah.
Thank you. There we go. Thanks.
Josh LeBlanc.
Yeah, this year. Joe.
Yep, there's Leanne.
Leanne. Bernie.
Art Bissell? Don't squeeze my hand either. I knew he was going to do that. Squealing you? You were going to keep this.
You're hanging on to it so tight.
Greg Hopper. Councillor Greg. Who? And
Thank you, sir.
for a job well done.
I was just a cheerleader.
Everybody did a fantastic job. Now, these were absolutely the best games ever, so it's something for all of you to be proud, and you've made the city of Estevan and our surrounding community proud as well, and we can't thank you enough, so thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. Next, and you're more than welcome to stay for our not too boring meeting, but you may find it boring, but you're more than welcome to stay. Next, under adoption of the agenda, please, could we have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? Thank you. Councillor Yanish, have we got a seconder? Thank you. Councillor Nibbs, any questions or comments? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, could we have a motion, please, to accept the minutes of the council meeting held on January 30th, 2017? Thank you, Councillor Hopper. Have we got a seconder? Councillor Nibbs, any, thank you. Questions? Did you have a question, Councillor Nibbs?
Are they waiting for maybe 8/8 for the, is that maybe what they're waiting to do? For the summer games allocation fund?
Oh, are you guys waiting for that?
They're going to give me a clock too.
Okay, so I wonder, after we get a vote on the minutes, maybe we can move that ahead and discuss that if council's okay with that. If I don't hear any negative response, we'll move that ahead, and then we won't hold you guys back. So all in favor of accepting the minutes as presented, please? Thank you. So next, and thank you for that, Councillor Nibbs. You owe that to Councillor Nibbs for not having to endure this meeting, so.
Art will give you another handshake.
Yeah, Art, yeah. So we'll move right to motions from committee. We've got the summer games allocation of funds. We've got that in your package. Councillor Hopper, would you like to speak to
Thank
it?
you, Your Worship. No, I was just going to say that they're prepared with a report to present to council as well.
Okay, excellent. So would you like to come up to the mic? I guess I've got the two right people at the mic. So please move forward. Brian and Ashley.
Okay, on behalf of the Estevan 2016 Summer Games Board, just like to make our final report to City Council and to the City of Estevan. We'd just like to thank our sponsors, obviously. There's businesses, there's individuals, there's groups that have really stepped forward and really helped us out. All our partners and, of course, the volunteers that have, made the whole activity successful. When we entered it, we had economics that were booming, and as we proceeded to, once we awarded the games, obviously everyone knew that we fell on some pretty hard times. So it definitely was some stressful times during it, but fortunately, Ashley here has a quick report financially, just to let everybody know how we did make out.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay, our total revenues ended up at just a little over $3.6 million, and it's broken down, I believe, in your package there. I'll highlight a few. We had guaranteed cash of $1,041,600 from the City of Estevan, SAS Games, and the school divisions. We brought in $71,800 from grants. We fundraised for $338,000. We sold naming rights for $307,000. We had cash sponsorship of $594,000 and sponsorship in kind of $1,018,000. During the games, we sold tickets for $131,000 and sold merchandise at almost $100,000 for the total of $3.6 million. Our expenses total were $3,470,108. Operationally, we spent $1,574,000, and just and we spent at sports and venues on operations $112,000, and then our legacy items, we spent $1,609,000 at the track for the actual track running surface, and we spent $33,000 on buildings at the track and $48,000 on equipment at the track. We refurbished the tennis courts up at the ECS and the city ones at the Leisure Center. The ECS tennis courts cost $35,000, and the tennis courts for the city at the Leisure Center cost us $10,000. We spent a total of $30,000 on bleachers, $5,750 for new archery butts, and $5,655 for soccer nets, and almost $4,000 in other miscellaneous balls and equipments for the various other sports. So our total surplus was $133,399. As a board, we met, and these are our proposed disbursement of our surplus that we have. We asked each sport if they had a request, and this is what we came up with. The archery club for a storage sea can, $5,000. Minor baseball for safety netting, $5,000. The ECS gym for players benches, $3,000. Exhibition grounds for building upgrades, $12,500. Woodlawn golf course for the youth golf program, $7,500. Woodlawn beach for a new shower building, $5,000. The Woodlawn athletic field for an outdoor fitness complex, $10,000. Kidsmen to go towards their outdoor rink project, $10,000. The Pleasantdale softball park for a new score clock, $10,000. For a walking path along Kensington at the track, $30,000. $10,000 towards the curling tanker that Estevan's hosting next year, and $25,000 for a seed fund for future events that people would apply for to come to Estevan, like getting started money, for the total of $133,399.
Okay, thank you so much, Ashley, and thank you all that's a tremendous amount of money to go through and end up in the black. And this is a great idea to make the legacy fund and to give back to the community. Absolutely fantastic.
So,
Brian?
And just prior for your guys' discussion on what our motions are, when we started, we had 3 goals in mind, and one was to provide games to the athletes that they wouldn't forget. One that will be impactful for the remaining of their lives. We also wanted to impact Estevan economically, as well as leave lasting legacy, and of course finish in the black. And finally, we wanted to showcase Estevan and provide a spark to provide some unity and some pride in the community. And in our final report, we just like to say that we think, in our opinion, that we accomplished those goals. Some of the notes, final notes, is that this was the largest Saskatchewan Games in history. Over $1 million came into our community in cash that would not have been here otherwise. And it's calculated that the economic impact of the games, building up to the games and including the games, was over $4 million. So we just wanted to leave that as our final report for the games. And so.
Well, thank you so much, Brian, and I'll open the floor for council members if they want anything to comment, but absolutely fantastic, tremendous job, and you've made our city proud, guys. You really have. Thank you so much. Councillor Hoffer?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to echo your comments and just commend the group for their exceptional work. It wasn't a 1 month lead up to this. It was a tremendous amount of time that you all gave, and it's just an outstanding effort. And I think one of the things that really needs to be recognized is this was a grassroots effort. This wasn't a city council or a City of Estevan driven initiative, though the city did play an important part. This games was secured, planned for, and carried out by a group of like-minded individuals. And I think it's just a fine example when people, sometimes wonder what is there to do in our community. This is a great example. If something's lacking and a group of like-minded people want to get together and make it happen, this is just a testament to what can be done when people want to step up and really give selflessly of themselves. The legacy it's going to leave in terms of the track, in terms of all the facilities, we've just mentioned a dozen community venues that are going to be improved because of the hard work here, in addition to what has already been done. Just my heartfelt congratulations to you all. And if we're looking for a motion to approve their report and accept it, I would like to make that motion, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Hoffert. We have a motion. Thank you. Councillor Vroba, seconded. Any questions or comments? All in favor of accepting the report? Thank you. Would any of council like to make any further comments? Okay, again, thank you so much for the tremendous job. We really do appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, excuse me, Brian, and Brian, would you mind seeing that, I can take that, Judy, or would you mind seeing that the rest of them that couldn't make it tonight? Yeah. And if there's any shipping, we can look after that, like out of town? Well, okay, thank you. Okay, next, under original communications, delegations, and petitions, we have the Southeast Transportation Committee minutes of January 24th. Could we have a motion to accept those, please? Councillor Moore, thank you. Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Nibbs. Councillor Moore, do you have anything to add to the meeting? Anything that...
Thank you, Worship. At the moment, nothing to add. And our next meeting is February the 28th. And at that point, we'll find out what Minister Dave Merritt has to say about our budget. And having come back from SUMA, I'm not guessing there's going to be any more money there. For sure, there'll probably be less, but we'll work with whatever we're handed down, because it looks like the balance of the country is going to have to do the same thing, regardless what situation you're in or who you're representing. The training will be to back off and live with what's available until things get better. So we're fine with that. That's what we'll aim towards.
Okay.
And then we'll have discussions when the budget's down a few weeks after that again. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Moore. Next, Unicode Services Limited Building Official Appointments. We've got Wayne Meyer. Now, our building official, Justin, he does Class 1, but these gentlemen will help when we have a Class 2 or Class 3 building, and that'll be Wayne Meyer, Clayton Meyer, Ryan Thiessen, Travis Elkin, and Shania Carter. So could we have a motion, please, that these people, as far as the City of Estevan is concerned, are able to come and give us a hand when needed? Councillor Hoffert, thank you. Councillor Vroba, seconded. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Next, under written reports of committees, we have the Estevan Board of Police Commissioners of January 19th, 2017. Could I have a motion for acceptance, please? Councillor Nibbs, seconded. Councillor Moore, thank you. Any questions or comments? I shouldn't start reading before I finish with the motion. The meeting was pretty uneventful anyway. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Says it only lasted 6 minutes.
Yeah, it was a quick one. Usually the end committee takes longer. Thank goodness the press come and the radio. They're very patient. They come for about 2 minutes and then we ask them to leave. But okay, next under written reports of committees. Estevan Arts Council meeting of January 4th of 2017. Could we have a motion for that, please? Councillor Hoffert, seconded. Councillor Yanish. Any questions or comments on that? Go ahead, Councillor Hoffert.
Just a couple comments, if I might, Your Worship, about some of the activities. This is a very active group, as it turns out. I'm new to this committee for the last few months, and I found it to be a very motivated and active committee, and they got a few very interesting events coming up that people want to look into. The Energy City Film Circuit on select Saturdays will show movies that they bring in that have been played at the Toronto International Film Festival or other festivals in the world, and so that they bring these in. And the one on March 4th is Manchester by the Sea, so I wanted to put a plug in for that. Concert for Kids has an event on March 16th at Westview School. A singer is coming in, Chad Armstrong, and he is a local fellow with local roots, and he's risen to some acclaim, and so that's on March 4th as well. That'll be a great event to look forward to. There's a paint night where people get together and learn how to paint and have a fun social evening, and that's at the golf course on March 16th. So there'll be information coming available there, and those are always a popular event, so look forward to that. And I think that's all I have, but just wanted to commend them on their good work.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Hoffert. I was just wondering, Dan, with the radio station, Discover Estevan is so important and everyone looks at it now for upcoming events. Would there be any opportunity that we could get, like the film, the Concert for Kids, Tars for Saskatchewan, incorporated into that? Oh, really? Okay, that would be awesome. Councillor Hoffert, perhaps you could have someone from that committee so the onus doesn't fall on Dan to do that. That would be great. Thank you so much. Okay. Did we get everyone accepted that, right?
You have to, no, they vote. Just vote.
Oh, okay. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, next, the Leisure Advisory Board meeting of February 1st, 2017. Could we have a motion for this, please? Thank you. Councillor Nibbs. Seconded. Councillor Yanish. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor? Thank you. Travis, you didn't have anything to add? Pretty regular meeting, nothing out of the ordinary. Okay, awesome. Okay, next, under executive reports, we have Land Development Building Permit Report for January 2017. Could we have a motion to accept this as presented, please? Thank you. Councillor Vroba, seconded. Councillor Moore, any questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Now from Land Development, we have, or next, I'm sorry, we have streetlights for 4th Avenue South. So I'll maybe just quickly go over this. An inquiry has been put forward to investigate the installation of new streetlights along 4th Avenue South from Perkins Street to Jensen Road, which right now is pretty much as dark as the inside of a cow. So it would be nice to light that area up, and it also goes to the Humane Society. The proposed area encompasses approximately 650 meters of roadway and crosses 4 intersections. The major land uses along 4th Ave are single detached homes and multifamily residential apartments. However, 4th Ave does see some traffic to service the Humane Society and as an alternate access to Doug Third Gymnasium, Souris Valley Theatre, and the Dana Quincense Memorial Sports Fields. Now, I do think quite a few people like to walk that 4th Ave in the summertime. It's a nice walk. Now, that wouldn't be lit up, but going down that hill where there's lots of traffic would be. So that would, you know, to the top of that, where the roadway starts, it would be advantageous for that as well. So, and we'll get to the questions right away. So we're looking at SBC installing a new transformer and installing 14 streetlights on 4th Ave. Each light will be spaced 45 to 50 meters apart. Each light will be on wooden poles, but could be on metal for another $9,000. And each light will be a 100-watt HPS luminaire light along the roadway, or a 150-watt HPS luminaire light beside the intersections. Now, we've got a budgetary quote of $37,130 plus GST for the installation of the transformer and the 14 lights. Upgrading the streetlights from wood to metal would cost another $9,000, $600 to $800 per pole. Sask Power estimates that the installation of the lights will take 8 weeks to complete. If the city is interested in moving forward with the design, Sask Power will be needed to be contacted to verify the locations on site and finalize the cost for installation. It is recommended to consider installing steel poles as not to detract from the nearby residential areas. they'd look a lot better. So what's the wish of council? Councillor Vroba?
Thank you, Your Worship. I actually live on Jubilee Place, so the back of my house would be facing 4th Avenue. And I can tell you, in the 20 years that I've lived there, it is a hardship for anybody that's walking. I know my neighbors and people in that area have often said they would love to walk in the evening down to Woodlawn Park, but they can't because it's so dark. I don't believe the Humane Society can even walk the animals, especially in the wintertime in the evening, because it's so dark. And there's people that go to work and also children that go to school that live in those 2 apartment buildings, and they have a hard time. There's no sidewalks back there for them to walk on. So especially in the winter when there's still not sunlight out, the children that are walking basically facing traffic with no lights. So it's hard for the cars to even see them.
Good
and
point.
so I've seen that right from my kitchen window. So I would recommend that this lights go ahead, but
Okay, thank you, Councillor Vroba. Have we got any other comments? Councillor Hoffer?
Thank you. It was mentioned several times in your report and about that it would be nice to have this right down to Woodlawn. Is this something we would consider in the future, carrying on down 4th Avenue? Because
Perhaps.
this is only getting you to the bottom of the hill.
That's right. Perhaps down the hill, Councillor Hofford, I think it would be a great idea because as Councillor Vroba said, the walking in the summer would be tremendous because
Yeah.
that's a nice walk down there. Yeah.
And Woodlawn Park is in the continually year after year, we're lighting up more trails and areas in the park, so it would tie into that
it would.
for folks who are going walking, whether it's summer or winter.
No, you're absolutely right. Councillor Vroba?
thank you. And I also agree if we could, if possible, financially, I'm not sure if we put this in the budget anywhere, because I know we had talked about it prior to that. If not this year, maybe next year if we can't budget it this year, but right down to the Doug Third Hall, because we have a walking path that's down there. And I've heard from a lot of people, they don't even know where the walking path is at night because you wouldn't be able to find it, so.
Right, good point. Okay, thank you, Councillor Vroba. Councillor Hoffert, anything else from Councillor Moore?
Thank you, Worship. For a couple of years there, when I was doing maintenance and working with Riddick Hall, I often wondered why we didn't have more lighting down there, because it is really dark.
It is a safety concern, isn't it? Yeah.
And I did notice at that time, and probably today, a lot of animals are walked on that piece of road. So I would totally be in support of at least get started with this project and eventually get down to Riddick Hall, right to where it's really needed. The other thing is, it's too bad that we couldn't come up with a better name than 4th Avenue. If we were to advertise this and get something behind it, and maybe we could find some funds that people would like to support this.
Perhaps more motorway, something along them lines.
Anything that would bring in some funds.
It's got a ring to it.
We need
Yeah.
$37,000, so it don't matter where it comes from, as long as we get it. But
No, that's not a bad idea.
I think the sooner the better, because we've been fortunate so far that nobody's been hit on that road. There's
You're
probably
right,
more
we have.
people than what you think using that particular
You're
road.
right, and like Councillor Vroba said, there's young children out there as well.
And after a show down at Riddick Hall, when everybody leaves, again, it shows you how dark it is in
It
that
does.
particular
It
area.
does.
So
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I had a little bit of experience being down there lots
Yes.
a couple of years ago, so
Yeah,
thank you.
you've helped out tremendously
Yeah.
with the Humane Society, so you would know.
Yeah, it's just,
You've gone that way quite a
Yeah.
bit. Any other comments? Councillor Hoffer?
Just a thought, Your Worship, perhaps what we could do is ask the city manager to price this out the rest of the way. Regardless of what we decide tonight, we won't be doing the rest of the way this year, I wouldn't think, because it wouldn't be in the budget if the first part is. But then at least we'd know come budget season what we're looking at, and we could start wrapping our heads around it if we could get a price for the rest of the way.
Sure, I'm sure we can do that through the good offices of our city manager. Councillor Nibbs?
Would there be any cost savings in continuing on and finishing the whole way if it's, once they're already here doing all these things and ordering the stuff? Just out of curiosity.
City manager, I guess we'd probably have to ask SBC, but city manager?
Councillor Nibbs, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm guessing if they put the transformer in, that would be a big chunk of the cost, and it ideally could feed the lights all the way down, but I'd have to confirm.
So it might not be anywhere close to doubling it. It might be only another 10,000 or something to complete.
Right, but you make a very good point. What we'll do, when we put the first ones in, we'll tell SBC to put in a transformer that will carry the load for the rest, so we don't have to then tear that down and put up a different one. That's a good point.
Perfect.
Okay, Councillor Yanish?
Your Worship, wouldn't we just ask SaskPower to give us a price to do it all at once? Not
I
do
don't-
both, ask what the price, we know what the price would be for now, but see how much more it's gonna cost now to finish it, because like Councillor Nibbs said, it may only be a little bit of money. It doesn't hurt to ask.
Okay, no, you're right. Although I think that the cost is static for a pole and lights, but yeah, absolutely, we could ask. It wouldn't hurt. Good point.
Your worship, perhaps we could sell
Okay.
naming rights to Sask Power, call them the Sask Power light poles, and they
Perhaps. It's wide open. We have had trouble getting money out of SBC in the past, although we've been very fortunate with Affinity Place. They gave $500,000 for the clock. We bless them to this day. God bless them. But yeah, as a rule, they do not give money. But anyway, it's worth the discussion. Go ahead, Councillor Frank.
Do we have a motion on the floor? If not,
We haven't yet. We've had lots of discussion, but no one jumping up to the plate.
I will make the motion that we go forward with the 14 streetlights and 1 transformer up till the end of the hill, with the intention of getting quotes on proceeding down to.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Frank. Seconded by Councillor Nibbs. Okay, any further questions or comments? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. That's passed. Go ahead, Councillor.
I guess I'm assuming that the treasurer and the city manager will find this in our budget for us.
That's his problem.
Did you want to reply to that, city manager?
Through your worship, we'll take a look at it. We can see if we can find it somewhere in our budget. If we have some significant difficulty, we'll bring it back to council and provide
have to space it.
an option for it.
Okay. Thank you, city manager. Okay, next, from the waste treatment plant manager, we've got the annual report on drinking water. It's a wordy document. It's about 3/4 of an inch thick. I hope you all took the time with your pajamas and reading light to read it. It's well worthwhile, and it tells us we absolutely need a new source of water, which, as you know, in this term will happen, the new water line to Rafferty, so that just solidifies the fact how badly we need that. So what's the wish of council? Could I have a motion to accept the annual report, please? Councillor Vroba? Thank you. Seconded, Councillor Yanish. Any further questions or comments? If not, all in favor? Carried. Next, from City Clerk Judy Pugh, we have the Council Code of Ethics. Could we have a motion, please, to accept that as presented? Thank you. Councillor Moore, we got a seconder. Councillor Nibbs, any further questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And again, I think that's a great idea. It's something that's coming. Most councils are looking at adopting or have adopted. And it's basically a code of ethics for council. And after what happened in the RM of Sherwood out of Regina, which was basically a disaster, I think it gives all councils, whether they be in the RM or cities, towns, and villages, a guiding light to go by. So it's a very good thing. And we appreciate that we passed that this evening. Next, under introduction of bylaws, we've got bylaw 2017-1982 to provide for council code of ethics. This evening, we'd like to give that first reading. We'll advertise as we do to the city and get feedback from our community. So this evening, could I have first motion, please, for bylaw 2017-1982 to provide for council code of ethics? Councillor Yanish, seconded Councillor Moore. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under introduction of bylaws, we have bylaw 2017-1983 to amend and establish the Arts Council bylaw. And basically, this is just to revamp and update the existing bylaw. And this, again, excuse me, will be first reading, and we will advertise within our community for feedback and see what our citizens feel on this one. So could I have a motion for first reading for bylaw 2017-1983 to amend and establish an Arts Council? Thank you, Councillor Vroba, seconded by Councillor Hoffert. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Last bylaw for first reading this evening, we've got introduction, under the introduction of bylaws, we've got bylaw 2017-1984 to establish and regulate water and sewer utility rates, first reading. And then again, we'll advertise that with our public. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Grobe.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just had someone question me this weekend about why they have to continuously pay the service charge each month, depending on, like, why are there different charges, depending on their actual size of their connection. And so I know it's a service fee to help with actually delivering water, but why is there, like, just so that the average person would know, and myself, why is there a difference in how much we charge? Why isn't it the same for each person?
Okay, thank you. City Manager, you're aware of that? The whole idea being, if you have a 1/4 inch line and you have a 2-inch line, your volume's going to be way, way more. Plus, the meter is a tremendous amount of money for a 2-inch line or a 1.5-inch line. Like, I don't know what we have it to beef it. I think it's over 1 inch. But the amount of water that goes through there and the cost of the meter is cost prohibitive, of course. So that's why the extra charges.
So, but basically, the reason they have to pay it every month is because that's a service fee to provide water. So for the upkeep, like, that money goes towards the upkeep of the lines, the upkeep of the infrastructure.
Yeah, and to help with the associated costs.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, but I just
Yeah.
thought I'd better check with the differences.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so could we have a motion, please, for first reading? Councillor Yanish, thank you. Seconded. Councillor Nibs, any, well, I guess we don't have questions, ask for questions on there first. So all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, next, under public hearings and reports, we have the public hearing of proposed zoning amendments, bylaw 2017-1978. Thank you, City Clerk. Now, this is on 521 5th Street, and this is where we have that large commercial building, and they're looking at putting a play center inside of it. So we have not received anything in writing to date on this. So there's been no written objections to annexation. Is there anyone in the gallery who wishes to address council on proposed zoning or oppose the proposed zoning? Hearing none. Is there anyone in the gallery who wishes to address council on this particular matter? Second call. So if no one comes forward, we note, City Clerk, in our minutes, if you would, please. And then I will ascertain that there's no one present in the gallery who wish to address council on this annexation of the West Valley. This is the West Valley Edge, right?
Nope, nope.
No, this is the wrong one.
522.
Yeah, this is on 521. Thank you. So where I said annexation, forget that. It's amendment of 521 for the play structure on 5th Street. Thank you. So that's what that was. But still no one here is present, so I guess we're good to go. Right, City Clerk?
Yep, just accept the report.
Okay, so could we have a motion to accept that report, please? Thank you. Councillor Yadish, seconded. Thank you, Councillor Frank. All in favor? Carried. Under giving notice this evening, we have nothing. Motions from committee, we have the summer games, which we've already dealt with. Thank you. Under number 9, consideration of bylaws, we've got bylaw 2017-1978, bylaw to regulate the use of land and zoning, second and third reading. So we've already gone through the first reading on this bylaw and the next one. We've had no feedback from our community, so now we'll move ahead for adoption and use of bylaw 2000, first of all, bylaw 2017-1978, bylaw to regulate the use of land and zoning. So could we first of all have second reading for that bylaw, please? Councillor Moore, thank you. Seconded. Councillor Vroba. Okay, this is second, so any questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor? Carried. Now could we have a motion, please, for adoption and use of bylaw 2017-1978, bylaw to regulate the use of land and zoning. Third reading for passing and adoption for use. Councillor Yanish, thank you. Have we got a seconder? Thank you. Councillor Frank, all in favor? Thank you. Next, under the second bylaw this evening, bylaw 2007. Oh, okay, thank you. Let it be noted, Councillor Hoffert has left council chambers. This is dealing with the healthcare, the bylaw to provide the special tax levy for healthcare, bylaw 2017-1981. So could we have a motion, please, for second reading of bylaw 2017-1981, bylaw to provide special tax for healthcare? Thank you. Councillor Vroba, seconded. Councillor Nibs, questions or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Vroba.
I had read somewhere, I think, that someone had said this was a new tax.
It's not
And
new.
I just wanted to clarify that it was not new.
Thank you for bringing that up. It's not new.
Okay.
It's been going on for a few years, and we're looking at probably, city manager, in 2019 having the allotment of 1.3 million paid to the nursing home, at which time all that will be left of the 290,000 which you pay right now will be 50,000, and at that time it'll be up to council. That 50,000 goes to the hospital foundation for capital equipment, which the government does not provide. So at that time, when we get to that point, if the council of the day wants to deny that or withdraw it, it's totally up to the council to do that. But for now, we have a couple more years to go with our commitment. As the city manager, I think, nodded in Ascension, 19, I believe, is the last year for the bulk of this.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, did we get that first and second, right?
We only have second reading.
Right. But did I call for all in favor?
No.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. Thank you, City Clerk. And last but not least, could I have for bylaw, third reading for bylaw 2017-1981, bylaw to provide special tax for health care for final reading and adoption for use. Councillor Nibs, seconded. Councillor Moore, all in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. Yeah, Trudy, if you wouldn't mind allowing Councillor Hoffert back in, please. 2020?
Halfway through 2020.
Okay, halfway through. I stand corrected. I said 2019. It'll be halfway through 2020. So halfway into 2020, the majority of that will be done. Okay, thank you, Councillor Hoffert. Inquiries.
Thank you, Worship. I don't have an inquiry, but I just have a comment. Since our last meeting, a former councillor and city mayor, actually, of the mayor of Estevan has passed away, John Bearbash. He was a former councillor and mayor, and also my uncle, and I just wanted to make note of his contribution to the city, and then perhaps on behalf of yourself and council, send our condolences to the Bearbash family.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Councillor Hoffert, for bringing that up. He was a valued member of council, and he did serve as mayor as well, did he not? Yes. And he was a very good mayor, so our condolences to the family, and thank you for that. Councillor Broba?
Thank you. I was just going to mention, for anyone that hasn't noticed, the smoking area outside of the Affinity Place has actually moved to the front and may even move over closer to the corner. But for now, a lot of people are just coming up and throwing their cigarette butts right beside the door as they walk in because they don't see an ashtray. So if you just notice, the ashtrays are actually kind of more in the center court, and we'd appreciate if you use the ashtrays versus just throwing them in the snowbank. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Vroba, and I totally feel for the smokers. I think they feel they're being treated unfairly because it's not maybe properly designated, and I think we have to do that. And I think also we should give them shelter, and we haven't done that. Like if it's windy and cool, it's very cold. I think we're trying to send a message that they have to quit smoking, which, thank God, it's a free country. If they want to continue, they can. So I think we have to keep those few amenities out there for them, give them shelter, proper notification of where it is, and proper ashtrays. Because obviously, if we don't, then they're going to get angry, and who knows, when I was younger, perhaps I might have too thrown the butt down in a fit of anger. So I get what they're doing.
Thank you, Your Worship. I think that the problem right now is the ashtrays aren't located anywhere near the walkway up to the building.
Okay.
So people are not aware, and then they hit the building and they're like, where's the ashtray?
Okay,
so as
good.
of today, they are going to place the ashtrays more center. So that's why I thought if we just bring it up and let the smokers know,
Good.
they would be respectful enough to put them in the ashtray.
Super.
My husband included.
And I know you talked to Nathan about that, so thank you for that as well. Thank you. Councillor Yanish?
Just another good pat on the back, even for my travels out of town. The people have said how good of a job we've done on snow removal this year. To Norm Mack and his crew, it has been just an awesome job. Now we have a little blessing of some melting going on, but even from people from outside of the city of Estevan have commented how good our snow removal has been this year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Councillor Yanish. And I know us as politicians, we would love to take the credit, but we can't. It goes to our manager, Norm Mack, and all of our staff. So kudos to Norm and his staff have done an absolutely tremendous job. Thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Frank, what have you got this evening?
I have nothing for this evening.
Nothing this evening? Okay, thank you. Councillor Nibs?
I have nothing, but if we are going to build shelter, can we maybe get a little heat in there for the smoking as well?
Easy on the heat.
Okay, well.
Shelter is a stretch, my friend.
Okay, well,
Straight coming.
if we're going to a demand list here, and I won't throw any butts outside the door anymore.
Thank you for that, Councillor Nibs. Appreciate it. Councillor Burr.
Thank you, Worship. I'm not sure whose idea it was to put the blue flashing lights on our moving equipment, but it's a very good idea. You can spot them from a long ways away, so I think it's a real good safety thing and probably money well spent. So
absolutely.
Who's ever come up with that after all these years, it was a good move.
Yeah, I think again it was probably Norm in consultation with our city manager, and yeah, it was absolutely a good move.
Yeah, good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, city manager, have you got anything this evening?
Thank you, Worship. Just like to say that it was great to see a packed house for the Bruin game on Saturday. I know there was the item in the paper, and I don't know if that helped or not, or if it was just that Weyburn was down, but it was great to see the support come out as we rally towards the playoffs.
Thank you so much for that, city manager, and I absolutely agree. I couldn't be there. I had a head cold, but it's nice to see that those types of crowds are coming back. And please come to the Bruin games and support your Bruins. They absolutely need to help. City Clerk, did you have anything this evening? Nothing, thank you. And Trudy, nothing? Our city accountant, nothing this evening? Okay. With that, could we have a motion to move into committee, please? Councillor Hoffer? Seconded by Councillor Nibs. All in favor? Thank you so much. We stand closed. Good evening.